I'm just here enjoying the music. Hey everyone, Henry Yellow here. Welcome back. Today we are going to watch 2001 Space Odyssey directed by Stanley Kubrick. I know that Stanley Kubrick has also directed other movies such as A Clockwork Orange and Doctor Strangelove, which I have on my movies list, so I will watch them eventually. This movie, A Space Odyssey, is quite special because it is noted for its scientifically accurate depiction of spaceflight and its pioneering special effects. So it's not surprising that the movie actually won the Best Special Visual Effects, and other awards that it got include the Best Soundtrack, the Best Foreign Film, the Best Film, and Stanley Kubrick also won the Best Director. But among the top 10 films of the time, A Space Odyssey actually only got the 10th place. The other movies who won over A Space Odyssey would be movies like The Shoes of the Fisherman, The Yellow Submarine, The Subject Was Roses, Planet of the Apes, Oliver, all movies which I am not familiar with. But if it's worth watching, do let me know. I could add those to my movies list. Since this movie was released 55 years ago, I'm not going to scrutinize the visual effects that much because during these 55 years we have made huge leaps in CGI, visual effects, and all that. So I'll focus, or at least I'll try to focus on the other aspects such as the storytelling and maybe try to put myself as someone from 1968 and then we'll see how amazing this space exploration movie is. Let's get ready to launch into the darkness of space. Okay, there's music, but there's a black screen, so I don't know if it's a problem or is that how the movie starts. It's just very suspenseful music.
5 minutes later.
Well, at this point, I can just close my eyes and just watch the movie, watch this suspenseful, or hear this suspenseful music, and expecting a jump scare. I suspect they're doing this because they want you to maybe give you the expectations that this will probably be what a large part of the movie is about. It's just maybe no dialogue, just parts of music and scenes, no people talking. Maybe that's what they want to prepare you for. Ah, the classic music. Da, da, da. Is this where the original music came from? Okay, I finally know where it comes from. This is the music where all other space movies use after this movie, I think. A Space Odyssey. Nice. Oh, it's starting so far back. The dawn of man. Almost everything has a bit of reddish tint, isn't it? Maybe they're trying to show that during that time the gases combination in the atmosphere makes everything look a bit reddish. What? That looks like a fully evolved human skeleton. How's that possible? Even the earliest human primates shouldn't have that type of skeleton. Those are tapirs, right? Do tapirs even exist back then? Oh! Whoa, did they actually get a leopard to play this? Oh my god, that stuntman has balls. Well, I have to admit though, their costume and makeup is pretty good. Bro, I just can't help thinking how much knee strength that they require to keep standing in that position and jumping like that. Their leg muscles must be aching. What? There's even a zebra? Oh, there's really nothing to do, is there? There are no phones, Wi-Fi, computer, magazines, newspapers, toys, nothing. No convenience stores or arcades, cinemas. There's literally Nothing, just empty land. Oh, aliens? There's suddenly a block of metal. Wow, the acting is pretty good. That wariness. I'm not gonna lie though, their costumes and their acting is way better than most CGI movies nowadays. Because most movies nowadays try to keep everything, short, quick and sweet, fast paced. They can't give prolonged scenes like this. What? Why is this music coming out? Did the block grant them intelligence? The discovery of weapons. And eventually fire. Oh. They could also use rocks. Now they've got meat now, don't have to keep eating grass. Wait, the block of thing is gone. Okay, now those are real monkeys. They've got the upper hand now, they've got weapons. And he's starting to be able to walk on two legs. That was funny, they didn't even hit him. Oh, all the way to the future now. Acting out zero gravity. Grip shoes. What are they made of? Velcro? But yeah, grip shoes is a great excuse to show her not floating through the corridor. So the concept is like flying a plane and fetching passengers from Earth to the space station so they can fly there and back. I don't think we've even gotten this far of technology yet. To have something like a plane that can take off from the atmosphere easily and fetch many passengers back and forth. If they can imagine this back in 1968, eventually we can achieve it. I'm just here enjoying the music.
Welcome to voice print identification.
Floyd, Haywood R.
Thank you. You are cleared through voice print identification.
Okay, so clearly AI should be available in this movie.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta make a couple of phone calls. You go on ahead to the restaurant. I'll meet you there.
Right.
How are you, Squirt? What are you doing?
Okay, so they can make Zoom calls now.
I'm gonna send you a very nice present, though. Anything special that you want?
A bush baby.
A bush baby.
A what? What's a bush baby?
Now, will you tell her that?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
$1.70. They played the Zoom lag pretty nicely too. Like there was a slight lag before she answers. Yo, this thing is spinning really fast. The moon outside is just constantly moving. So I assume they're all wearing grip shoes, grip heels. Or maybe it's like they turn on the gravity thing.
Some extremely odd things have been happening at Clear's. It's been going on now for the past 10 days.
You mean you haven't been able to contact anyone for the past 10 days?
That's right. We have had some very reliable intelligence reports that quite a serious epidemic has broken out at Clear's. This is in fact what has happened.
I'm really not at liberty to discuss this.
I will neither confirm nor deny that statement. Thank goodness we didn't make these seats like general, because those seats don't look comfortable to sit in. Curious to know what kind of food that they have. She's watching judo. Yeah, they can only eat like liquids or paste in space. They can't eat any solid foods. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good for the digestion, I think, in outer space. They probably put her in a spinning chamber or something to enable her to do this. Okay, that's nice. Still doesn't make much sense for them to be upside down though, because when they're building this shuttle on Earth, it would have been much harder to do so. So I believe everything should be at least facing one side, the gravity. Yo, that's a lot of instructions to read before you can use the toilet. They cut that off. I feel that they're pulling this off pretty nicely, you know, all these technology and how it all works. I mean, yeah, they're really showing the works here. So you can see the amount of effort that they put into this whole visual effect. So I'm not surprised that they won an award for this.
Regarding the need for complete security in this matter, opposition to the cover story. Created to give the impression there's an epidemic at the base. I'm sure you're all aware of the extremely grave potential for cultural shock and social disorientation if the facts were prematurely and suddenly made public.
The three possibilities that I can think of is alien life. They discover alien life or alien technology or a habitable planet. These are the only three things that I can think of that's big enough news to be kept in absolute secrecy.
Oh, anybody hungry?
What's that, chicken?
Something like that. Tastes the same anyway.
Oh, actual solid food.
Here's what started the whole thing.
Okay, let's see what this is about.
Not even a big nickel iron meteorite could produce a field as intense as this. Seems to have been deliberately buried. The only thing we're sure of is it was buried 4 million years ago.
Wow, you're so sure it's 4 million years ago. He's trying to pour coffee in a cup in zero gravity. With all these kind of flashing screens, people with epilepsy cannot do this. They cannot pilot that. Oh, that's the same block that we saw the apes discovered. That's interesting. Because after the apes discovered a block of thing, it disappeared. And now it reappears here, buried. I wonder if it'll help to increase their intelligence. The music is kind of creepy. You could kind of hear a subtle magnetic resonance when Floyd was touching it. Okay, now they're just taking a picture like they're on a vacation and this is a tourist attraction. Come a little closer. Oh, must be the magnetic field interfering with their communications. Well, they skipped 18 months. But when the apes found it, it was the sun and the moon. But now when the humans find it, it's the sun and the earth. He had to avoid the camera setup on the ground. But yeah, this is a nice effect. The other astronauts in hibernation. This spinning chamber. I mean, clearly it's spinning because if it's in zero gravity, he shouldn't even be able to run like this. BBC News.
Left on its half-billion-mile voyage to Jupiter.
Half-billion-mile.
The crew of Discovery 1 consists of 5 men and one of the latest generation of the HAL 9000 computers.
The 3 hibernating crew members represent the survey team. Their efforts won't be utilized until we're approaching Jupiter.
The heart beats 3 times a minute. Body temperature is usually down to about 3 degrees centigrade.
You're the brain and central nervous system of the ship. Does this ever cause you any lack of confidence.
No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. Foolproof and incapable of error.
Wow, that's one way to brag about yourself.
Are you ever frustrated by your dependence on people to carry out actions?
Not in the slightest bit.
Do you believe that Hal has genuine emotions?
Ah, the ultimate question.
Whether or not he has real feelings is something I don't think anyone can truthfully answer.
Nobody except the AI would know if it has genuine emotions. Wait, could it be that after the Dr. Floyd discovered the block, and then those team of scientists increased their intelligence and actually created this HAL 9000? That's possible, right? Because it's 18 months since that happened, so they could have created this computer AI.
Queen to bishop 3. Bishop takes queen. Knight takes bishop. Mate, thank you for a very enjoyable game.
Yeah, thank you.
Wait, is that really a checkmate? Couldn't really see too clearly. I mean, I saw that, yeah, it would be mate, but would it be checkmate though? I don't know.
That's a very nice rendering, Dave.
Rendering.
I think you've improved a great deal.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
There are some extremely odd things about this mission. Rumors about something being dug up on the moon.
Yeah, it's related to that.
Kimball and Kaminsky aboard, already in hibernation after 4 months of separate training on their own.
Also, you mean those three people might have different mission objectives, which is kept top secret.
I've just picked up a fault in the AE-35 unit. 100% failure within 72 hours.
100% failure, that's terrible. They're not showing zero gravity, but they sure are showing how they play with gravity. Like one person standing like this, the next person standing like that, like could be a camera trick or something, but it's definitely not zero gravity. Unless they've mastered like applying gravities at different angles and different directions.
Open the pod doors, Hal.
Did he have to become Darth Vader at a time like this? The little arms are so cute. 4 tiny little arms. I would have preferred to keep listening to some more classical music, but all I get is just heavy breathing and the sound of hissing air. Oh, cool. Now they're doing the floating effects. But he doesn't even have a tether, you know, like a rope to tie him to something, because it's very dangerous to be floating right there in space like that without any the equipment, spacewalker equipment, which allows them to use air ejections to maneuver in space. So he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have a rope to tether him. That is very, very risky and dangerous. And he stopped the pod so far away from the main spaceship. I'm surprised the little black box doesn't just fly away, but I will assume it is magnetic, and it is magnetically stuck to that satellite. If they could provide Hal with mechanical hands to do some of this work, might be more efficient, but that would be putting a lot of power in Hal's hands.
Well, Hal, I'm damned if I can find anything wrong with it. It's puzzling.
Oh, is Hal wrong for the first time?
Put the unit back in operation and let it fail.
Our preliminary findings indicate that your onboard 9000 computer is in error predicting the fault.
How would you account for this discrepancy between you and the Twin 9000? It can only be attributable to human error.
Human error, not my fault.
The 9000 series has a perfect operational record. Oh, Frank, I'm having a bit of trouble with my transmitter and C-pod. I wonder if you'd come down and take a look at it with me.
I wonder if Hal is smart enough to, detect human facial expressions and then draw a conclusion from that.
Rotate pod, please, Hal. Rotate the pod, please, Hal. I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah, I'm sure we're okay.
But why would you rotate so that the mirror faces him? What if Hal reads lips? You should have allowed the window to face outside so Hal can't see anything.
If he were proven to be malfunctioning, I wouldn't see how we'd have any choice but disconnection. Be a bit tricky. Yeah.
Would you guys just stop looking at Hal? Clearly he can know something's wrong if you keep looking at him.
As far as I know, no 9,000 computers have been disconnected. And no 9,000 computers ever failed.
See, I knew it. He reads lips. He can lip read. And you guys made a huge mistake of facing him while you're talking. Intermission. Okay, and the creepy music and the blank screen is back.
5 minutes later.
And why is the pod moving by itself? Oh, is Hal controlling it? He can control the pods remotely? Oh, he can. And there you go, he's flying. See, that's what I meant about tethering yourself to something. Well, why is the pod flying too? Oh crap. Hal is rebelling.
Do you have a positive track on him? Yes, I have a good track.
You can still track him. Whoa. Bro, he's traveled too far. I think in reality, he would have flown too far to even be able to catch up with him. I mean, he looks like he was flying really fast. Look at that. He could be over 100 kilometers away by now. And this guy doesn't seem like he's in a rush. Yo, he doesn't look nervous, but I'm anxious. Like, can you go faster to catch him back? The main spaceship seems to be traveling really, really fast. Can you even catch up back to this main spaceship later? If Hal really wanted to kill them, he could just open the pod doors right now. And this guy will die from lack of oxygen. I'm wondering where their oxygen tanks are. Because their astronaut suit looks very tight-fitting. And the things strapped to the front and back don't look like oxygen tanks, so I'm not sure where their oxygen supply is located. Oh no, is he gonna kill off the 3 doctors in hibernation? Oh crap, he really is. Even though these 3 doctors have not even met Hal or know that there's anything wrong with him, he just kills them off. He's not taking any chances. Yo, Hal is dangerous. Ooh. Yeah, perhaps Hal doesn't have any emotions. He won't feel guilty or think twice about killing someone else if it means his own survival. 3 people did, and they don't even know what killed them. They got ended by an emotionless killer.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Hello, Hal, do you read me?
Do you read me, Hal? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Worst possible scenario.
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
You just killed the 3 doctors who are important for the mission. You already jeopardized the mission, Hal. Where's your logic?
Although you took very thorough precautions in the pod, I could see your lips move.
That was the mistake. You let him see your lips.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
What if you apologize and promise not to disconnect Hal? Hal has already jeopardized the mission by killing the 3 doctors, unless Hal has a different mission than the rest of them. That's ridiculous. How did he suddenly start floating faster than the pod? What the heck, he really just let him go? Wow, he really just let him die. Float in space and run out of oxygen. See, that's a scary thing about space. In the outer space, no one can hear you scream or struggle or shout for help. There's no one to help you there. It's the same for the depths of the ocean. That's why you will not catch me going deep into the ocean or into outer space. I am happy enough being on land with my 2 feet on solid ground. Thank you very much. What's that? If I'm not mistaken, humans can still survive like a minute or so in outer space without oxygen. You won't just expand and explode. Will just lack oxygen. So it shouldn't be a problem to just very quickly get in there and then close the door. Still a scary thing to do, though. Oh, oh, he sure flew there fast. Whoa! I thought he was gonna fly right out again.
I can assure you now that it's going to be all right again.
How can he trust you after you just tried to kill him?
I feel much better now.
Oh, you feel that way, do you? You feel it, do you?
I really do.
Wow. Nah, man, no one's trusting you after you just tried to kill him.
I can see you're really upset about this.
Oh yeah, no duh.
I know I've made some very poor decisions recently.
You killed 4 people. I wouldn't call that a poor decision.
My work will be back to normal.
Yeah, can you bring the 4 people back to life?
Stop, will you?
No.
Stop, Dave.
Thank goodness that's all he could do. He doesn't have any other power to stop Dave.
I'm afraid, Dave. My mind is going.
Oh, this is kind of creepy in its own way, you know?
I can feel it.
Yeah, Dave, just do it. Show no mercy. Hal didn't show any mercy, and you shouldn't either.
If you'd like to hear it, I can sing it for you.
Oh, even his voice has changed.
It's called Daisy.
Okay, so once the voice stops and he can't talk anymore, then that means Hal's gone.
Has been known on board only by your HAL 9000 computer. Now that you are in Jupiter's space, and the entire crew is revived.
Entire crew's dead, except Dave.
Except for a single radio emission aimed at Jupiter, monolith has remained completely inert.
Oh, radio emission. That's what it was. So they're traveling to Jupiter to track where the radio emission was emitted to, which means they believe there's life on Jupiter. Is that it? But the black monolith was like 4 million years ago. Like a lot could happen in 4 million years. Well, he really made the whole trip to Jupiter. If it was me, if I was still closer to Earth, I'm doing a U-turn and I'm getting back to Earth. Is he showing the same black monolith, or is it a lot of black monoliths floating around? Or is it trying to show all the planets in the solar system aligned? Whoa. What the hell, is he warping through space?
5 minutes later.
If they just end it like that, they better not. Oh, this is quite a trip.
20 minutes later.
This might be one of the reasons that the movie won the best visual effects. Now you could say that they totally don't understand what you're looking at. These are things that the human mind cannot comprehend. Secrets of the universe. Now you gotta admit, that is pretty cool. And I don't even know what I'm looking at. Who knows, he might be in a higher dimension right now. That's why his brain can't comprehend what he's seeing. Not sure if this is the surface of Jupiter or the Earth 4 million years ago.
1 hour later.
Okay, this is the ocean. Okay, clearly they're just applying filters over these footages, but yeah, I guess it must have been pretty cool back then. But it's dragging on a little bit long right now because there's still no conclusion to anything. Oh, he's arrived. Somewhere. Question is, how the heck did the pod get here? Oh my god, is his brain fried? Oh, he's looking at himself. An older version of himself. Wait, what? It's like being in a dream. First you're inside the pod, then you're looking at yourself, and then the pod is gone, and you're outside the pod. Yep, it's exactly like being inside a dream. Don't tell me it's himself. It is, isn't it? Yo, how long has he stayed here? Yo, is he just seeing himself getting older and older? Yes, the monolith. I'm very intrigued. And yet, I still don't understand what's going on. A baby in the womb? So this baby, this embryo is the dawn of man? Is that what you're trying to say? Everything comes full circle? It's a loop? I don't know what to say or what to think or what to feel. What did I just watch? I feel like this whole movie is so deep that I don't know what's going on. Well, here's my theory. I think what happened was probably Dave went into a higher dimension, like a dimension so high that it's probably not influenced by time. Time can be easily stretched, molded, and it's flexible. And he sees himself grow older and older and older, and eventually he becomes an embryo and goes back in time to the dawn of man, where life is inserted. And so man came to be from that baby or embryo. There might have only been one monolith this entire time, and every monolith we saw was the same exact monolith. So the whole thing comes full circle. That's one of the explanations that I can think about. So what Dave discovered wasn't an alien life. He discovered higher dimension beings. And of course, he couldn't really see them because our brains can't comprehend a higher dimension, right? Because as far as I know, our eyes and our brains can comprehend up to 2-dimensional, maybe 3-dimensional, but anything higher than that, maybe 5th dimensional, 12th dimensional, or 20-dimensional, it's just something that we are unable to comprehend, so we don't even know what we're looking at. So maybe Dave discovered those higher dimensional beings, and being in a higher dimension, they sent him back to Earth, maybe, and then started this whole dawn of mankind. Because when you're in a higher dimension, it's things are completely different. You could maybe even control size, distance, time, and everything like that. So, I mean, all of this is theory and unexplainable. What was the film's ending really about? Now, I had my own theory, but naturally, it might not be what Stanley Kubrick himself had in mind. In a 1980 interview with Junichi Yaoi, Kubrick offers his interpretation of the film's ending. Dave was taken by godlike entities, creatures of pure energy and intelligence with no shape or form. They put him in a human zoo to study him, and his whole life passes in the room. And just like we saw in the movie, he has no sense of time. It just happens to him as it happened to us as we watch the movie. Once they're finished with Dave, Dave is transformed into some kind of super being and sent back to Earth. Of course, we don't know what happens when he goes back. Apparently, this is the pattern of a great deal of mythology. I'm not familiar with mythology, so maybe I don't know what they're basing this on. Is it Greek mythology, Roman mythology, or what other mythology? So I'm not sure about that. So that's what they're trying to suggest with the ending of the movie. To me, it still feels a little strange, because if they keep Dave in a zoo, much like humans keep apes or other animals in the zoo, after the animal passes away, I mean, that's it, they pass away. Like, why would these supernatural godlike entities bother to even waste their energy to turn him into a Superman and then send him back to Earth? Like, why would they waste their effort like that? unless it's something that is so effortless to them that they could do it in a snap of their fingers. Otherwise, I don't know why they would bother doing that. If they're able to do that, that also means they are able to control life. They can give life or revive someone, bring someone back from the dead. If they were that impressively powerful, why would they allow Dave to even find them? Right? Why would they even have any ways at all for humans, which are insignificant creatures, to even be able to find them? Right? I mean, that's my line of thought. But, well, this is what Kubrick was going for, so okay. Let's see if we can find some fun facts about this movie. First, let me just say that I was wrong when I thought that astronauts cannot eat solid food. Apparently, astronauts can eat normal pantry foods, such as nuts, granola bars, candies, cookies, and more. So yeah, I was wrong. Sorry about that. Astronauts can eat solid foods in space. One of the fun facts is that this film was shot almost entirely indoors. They built massive sets, including a 30-ton rotating Ferris wheel set. Yeah, that's why we saw. That's how they make it look like it's not like it's zero gravity, you know, the way they walk, all that. So it's like a Ferris wheel set where they set the camera there and then just take the video of the thing, even though it's spinning, but we don't see it spinning. The monolith was actually made of wood and a special graphite mixed black paint to get that smooth surface. All of the apes that we saw in the beginning of the movie were actually mimes. Kubrick hired Richard, which was a professional mime at the time. He hired Richard to be the main ape and tasked him with recruiting 20 other mimes to be the apes. Kubrick also got some help from NASA pros, which makes sense. You know, he does need their knowledge to know how to accurately portray how it's like in space. It featured some groundbreaking special effects, yeah, no surprise there. Such effects were painstakingly created because the movie existed in an era before you could just fire up a computer and make the special effects happen. Yeah, it makes sense. It was 1968. So the Stargate sequence, which we saw at the end of the movie, was made using a technique called slit scan photography. So all they used were 2 sheets of glass and a camera on a custom dolly track, a piece of glass with interchangeable paintings, drawings, and geometric patterns. Push the camera backward and forwards to produce seemingly infinite planes of exposure. Hard to imagine how he did that with just the words here, but okay. Aha, and do you remember the scene where they made the floating pen and then the hostess, space hostess, has to go and take the pen, pluck the pen out of the air? So how did they do this? They used double-sided sticky tape, which had just been invented, and stuck the pen to a sheet of glass. The glass was then moved to create the effect of the pen floating. Oh, that's a very interesting and creative way to do it. I thought that it was just like kind of floating on a string, but it also looked pretty realistic. So they used glass, a sheet of glass, to do it. This 2001 movie was not a financial success. They were even planning to pull it out of theaters to cut the losses. But eventually, the movie became popular among young adults who wanted to take some drugs to watch the trippy Stargate sequence. So in the end, this was what made the movie a blockbuster. I do admit it was pretty trippy. 0.5% of the footage shot ended up in the movie. They actually shot 200 times more footage than what ended up in the final cut of the film. Even though the film had a lot of long scenes, a lot of long sequences, and it's a pretty long movie, apparently only 0.5% was what we saw. I think if they used all the footage, the film would probably last for probably a week. Stanley Kubrick himself provided the breathing hard sound which we heard in the spacesuit. So this breathing was provided by Stanley Kubrick himself. Not sure how to feel about that. Like, I wouldn't mind not hearing a breathing sound. What are your thoughts on this 2001 A Space Odyssey movie? You are welcome to share it in the comments. And the next movie coming up is The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951. So I will see you in the next video. Peace.